Isn't it wonderful? This is how I know that people at Metu are so dedicated. On a Friday afternoon, you have nothing better to do than come and listen to me. Oh, it's sad, yeah? No, inshallah, we'll have a good session today, yeah? And you won't worry too much about being here on a Friday, yeah? All right, what we're doing, we're giving a handout. We've only got one between two, but that's good. We can sort of share it as we go through. At the end, I can email you a copy of this anyway, if you want one. I'll give you my email address like usual, and I'll send you a copy of everything that we've got, yeah? We don't have enough photocopies. Ah, okay. Okay. When we look at the photocopies, just show them to your friends at the back, yeah? We'll make do with them, yeah? All right, let's kick off. We said our session today is going to be having a look at teaching grammar creatively. So we'll be looking at a little bit of grammar, and we'll be looking at a little bit of creativity at the same time. But before that, I want to tell you that today I'm very, very, very happy. I'm amazingly happy. Why? Tony, why are you happy? Well, I think you might have noticed a couple of weeks ago we had a little problem with my best friend Twitter. Yeah? Tayyip Bey got into a little bit of trouble with the Bluebirds. But Tayyip Bey didn't know that now I am Turkish, I can vote. So I voted in the election. I used my brand new vote because I was so angry with Tayyip Bey taking away my Twitter. And it was successful. I made him angry. I made him very angry, but we didn't win. And so my Twitter was gone for a few more days. But then on Wednesday, what happened on Wednesday? Thursday morning, the judges came back and they said, I am the law and you can have Twitter back. And so I was so happy because today I'm going to show you some Twitter. I didn't have it. Yeah? So I would just like to say thank you to the wonderful judges who gave me my Twitter back. Thank you, judges. All right. There's my email address, and like I said, I'll send you a copy of the handouts, yeah? But I'll also send you a copy of this as well. If you want a full copy of this, I'll send you one. So just send me a quick email at the end, and I'll email everybody a copy of what we're looking at. Okay. Shimmy. Truth Zamana. Truth Zamana. Hoş geldiniz. Okay, and this is not Twitter truth. Yes? This is grammar truth. Grammar truth. Truth about grammar. It's not. Come on, is grammar sexy? Come on, seriously. Seriously. Speaking to people, having conversations with them, that's interesting, that's good. Writing beautiful love letters to the people we love, that's interesting. But grammar is just not very sexy. Yeah? Can I have a quick look? Is anybody in the room? Does anybody disagree with me? No, I think this is it. Some people like grammar, and I think that's normal, we can like it.
Compared to the other members.
No, definitely. But in terms of looking at communication and language skills, that's the thing, it's just not, yeah? It's just not very sexy. I'm sorry. It's just not. But it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. As teachers,
as pre-service teachers or even experienced teachers, what do we tend to focus on more? Vocabulary or grammar? Grammar. We do that. Even very, very experienced teachers do it. Yeah? All right, let me ask you a question, everybody here. Yeah? Tomorrow, I'm going to take you all to China. Every one of you, I will buy you a first-class aeroplane ticket, and we will go to China. Yes? Yes. And I will give you 2 books that you can take with you. You can take a Chinese grammar book or a Chinese vocabulary book. Which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose the vocabulary book, because vocabulary is the most useful thing to help us communicate. So why do we teach so much grammar to our students in the classroom? It's a good question. It's a good question. But let's do something else. We're going to do a little bit of reflection. What I'd like you to do is find 3 people next to you. 3 or 4 people next to you. Yeah? Just introduce yourself. Hello, nasılsınız? Çocuklar nasıl? Hocam nasıl? Baba nasıl? Just introduce yourself. I'm going to give you a question, and I want you to answer this question with your 3 or 4 friends. Okay? Ready? Go. Go on, give us the answers. Okay, have we got some ideas? Have you got 3 or 4 ideas? Yeah, okay. Somebody tell me a few ideas. Give me an idea, yeah?
Being unpredictable. This is for being predictable is more boring.
Okay, so we must all be more predictable.
No, to be boring.
To be boring.
Yeah.
I like that answer because you were the first person to speak. Have a prize. Good. All right. Anybody else?
Over repetition, that we can ask students to write the same rules or sentences.
Lots of repetition, lots of repetition. Very good answer, but you didn't speak first. She did.
It was my idea.
It was my idea. We had a contract. Yeah. All right.
That's my idea. No.
I know. What are you going to do? Okay, so teach it like mathematics, when it's a language for communication. I like that one. You can have prize. Yeah. All right, any more? How can we make it more boring?
Just putting it formally on the board and not making the students do any practice with the word.
Put it formally on the board. No practice. Memorize this. Do that. Is that a good answer? Oh, buckle. Come on. All right. Now, if you think about it, this is actually a very good critical thinking process to go through. And it's quite creative. Normally, when we try and brainstorm, we try and brainstorm the positive when we do it. That little technique there is called what we call destructive brainstorming. By doing it in the negative, you can actually understand, you can focus more on very real problems that we have. Yeah? Very useful when you're having discussion groups as well. But I think we get the idea. All of us know the things that make grammar teaching boring. We do. Which is why I said, grammar itself is just not very sexy. Okay. More truths, Amanda. If you think about it, you think about the word creativity. Do you get positive ideas in your head or negative ideas? Usually positive ideas, don't you? If we go to high school students and we say the word grammar to them, what happens to their heads? Yeah, it's the same thing, yeah? But creativity has very positive connotations. For example, look at this guy. Who's this guy? Gemma. Put your hand up if you love him. If you want to marry him. He's not a very handsome man. He's not, at all. Yeah. But we all love him. He has a handsome wife. Mine. He has a very quick mind. He looks at the world very differently. He describes the world very differently. He's very creative. And that's why we find people like Jem attractive. Yeah? Also, I had to be very creative with my W. People like Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah? When we think of somebody like Leonardo da Vinci, what ideas come into your head? Oh, wow, really smart, really intelligent, really creative, really inventive. And we look up to him, don't we? You know? I mean, this fact is true. He could write with both hands, one hand in Latin, one hand in Greek. How do you feel when you hear that?
Holy crap.
Stupid! Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah? We look at him and we think, wow, he's really, really smart. Yeah? Other really smart guys also talk about creativity in the same way. Einstein said this, I love this one. Yeah? Creativity is like a virus. It's contagious. Yeah? It spreads really quickly and it shows that positive idea. Yeah? Like, it's the same with us as teachers. Yeah? One of the things that we teachers do is we touch our students, not in a bad way. We touch their minds, we touch their hearts. And it's the same idea. If we touch them with a more colourful, creative hand, we can actually help them become even more creative themselves. And that's what Einstein was talking about when he said that. Yeah? This idea that creativity creates better human beings. It actually makes us better as a species. Makes us more interesting. Yeah? All right. But if we come to that question, we've looked at some of the things people have said. What about you? If I just said to you, what is creativity? What other words pop into your head? Produce. Yeah, so we produce something. We're creative, we're productive. Anything else?
Synthesis from previous ideas.
Synthesis from previous... I'm going to give him... Did you copy that sentence?
No.
Okay, good. I like that. Synthesis from previous ideas. What are you doing next Tuesday? Can you come to my next presentation? I'll sit you in the back and give me ideas. Anything else? Huh? new things. Yeah, so we're producing something new, something different. Different, yeah? Yeah, and I think that there are a lot of the ideas we have. Discoveries, yeah? Originality comes up. Subjectivity, injecting ourselves into it. Yeah? Well, I think that's one of the things, and if we look, there's often two ways of looking at it. We can look inside or we can look outside. And a lot of the time, when we look outside, yeah, we get that idea of using other people's ideas, the synthesis idea, to help us. Yeah? But we also have our own experience that we can look at in the same way. Yeah? This one was very similar to something that you said. Original ideas that have value. Now that's Ken Robinson. Yeah? He is the #1 Twitter educator, who I wasn't able to see for 2 weeks. Yeah? But again, it's that originality idea that comes in. Yeah? Like we said before, it's about new and different, but sometimes it's the same, but it's new and different. There's a little twist to it. This is why I like this one from Kirby Ferguson. Yeah? Are you familiar with Kirby Ferguson? No? He has a wonderful blog, a really, really interesting blog where he talks about learning and design and education. It's one of the best blogs on the web. And this is what he was saying, that idea of sympathies, is that actually with creativity, nothing is totally new. Yeah? Everything builds, yeah, on everything else. So when we copy somebody else, for us, that's also being creative. When we copy and transform something, that's creativity too. When we copy, transform, and combine, it's creativity. So it doesn't need to be totally new, it's just taking ideas and making them suit the things that we do. Yeah? I love this one from Steve Jobs. Because with Steve Jobs, everybody saw him as being one of the most creative people on the planet. But he was very honest. He said, look, basically, none of my ideas are new. I steal a lot of my ideas from different people, and I wrap them together. So it's combining new ideas that is the real creativity. So we don't all need to be Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci? What do you Leonardo DiCaprio? Leonardo da Vinci to do it. I love this one from Maya as well. It's so true. One of the things as human beings, we think, oh, I'm not very creative. But we forget that when you start to be creative, it actually creates more creativity. Yeah? It gets better. It's not like money. When you spend it, your money disappears. With creativity, when you use it, it actually grows a lot more. Ha! Okay, little activity. Remember your 3 friends, your 3 or 4 friends that you were working with? All right. Thinking about some of those ideas, I've now, can I say, all of you at the moment, has everybody been in a classroom and taught this year? Yeah, even the pre-service teachers, everybody's been in the classroom at least? Yeah? Okay. All right. What I'd like you to do with your friends, the most creative grammar activities you can think of. I have prizes for the best ones. Go! Tell your friends. Maybe an activity you've seen somebody else do? Yeah? All right, let's have a look. Anybody want to tell us about their idea? Yeah, over here?
Ask the students to have a written while learning the grammatical structures.
Okay.
Keep in mind.
Okay, so how would it work exactly? What would you do?
For example, they are repeating the grammatical structure, and while telling it, they keep the rhythm.
Okay, so it's linking a bit of music in there as well. That's sort of getting it. Yeah. Is that a creative idea? Does he deserve a book? There you go. Go on. All right. Another one.
Okay, we will use this idea in our presentation. We will ask our students to, be in groups, and there's this detective game. They are young learners, so we didn't kill anyone. Just a vase is broken, and when they are in PE class, a vase is broken in the classroom. So we are trying to find the criminal here.
Oh,
So we
okay.
asked them to defend themselves. Okay, what were you doing while you were in PE? You left the class. Where were you? So therefore, we make them to use the past tense.
Okay.
So they have to defend themselves.
All right, so you're building a little bit of role play in there and linking it in a little bit of drama, a little bit of theatre. I think that's good. Did you do one before? No. Okay. You've had one, yeah?
Make them discover grammar for themselves.
Before you even start, I'm going to now finish the idea. Go on. Discover the grammar themselves. Tell
For
us more.
example, you're teaching past tense. At first, you give them examples in past tense and you say, this is past tense. After they build some inner knowledge.
So it's drawing it from them, not spoon-feeding them. Yeah? Shall I give her a second book? No, I'll wait. Another one? Yeah.
It's all very useful in that case. This is a very short game. It's about guess who am I. So everybody should get on the students and they try to learn the first word of the language and ask them the
All right, definitely getting games are becoming so big now, especially with the technology side of them. Yeah, I'll give you a book for that. Yeah, you can have a book for that. Yeah. All right. I mean, the thing that comes up is if you look at some of these ideas, they're very useful, practical things that we can do, but I doubt if any of them were totally original. We picked up the idea from somewhere, we experimented with it, and we did something that suits us a little bit more. Yeah? All right. I'm running out of books, Judge of Life. Yeah? We'll get some more later. I think this one, apart from it being a wonderful picture, I love this picture, yeah, is just the whole idea that a lot of the time with creativity, it means that we take a risk. You know, we do something a little bit crazy, we do something a little bit different, and it might not work. Yeah, it might not work, but we'll actually learn something by taking that risk. Yeah? And sometimes the feedback from our students is more important as well, because we get a better idea of what they like, what they're interested in, and what will work with them as well. That's why the whole risk-taking idea is important. So definitely for us teachers, we shouldn't be chickens. We shouldn't be running away from taking those risks. We should be taking more and more of those risks as well. So true. I think that's one of the things that we often forget, the courage side of things. Being brave enough to try something new. Being brave enough to fail. Yeah, to make a mistake. And being brave enough to fail in front of our students. So that students know it's okay to fail at the same time. So important. Yeah? All right. Now, we're going to move on to an activity right now, but we haven't got enough photocopies. So I'm going to ask you in a minute to get up and move around. I think some people at the back, you aren't able to see the copies. So if maybe we can get up and we can stand around in groups and share them. Yeah? This activity that we're going to do is actually from one of my friends. Yeah? One of my friends is called Adam. Yeah? Now Adam works at Savanja University. And like me, he has a blog. And a couple of months ago, in his blog, he said, I have the most creative writing grammar activity in the world. And he put this in his blog. He was brave. He was very brave. Yeah? And what he was saying with people is, I find this activity to be really, really useful. And it's the most creative one in the world. Yeah? So what I'd like us to do, if we can, I'd like you to stand up a little bit, yeah? Put your hand up if you haven't got a handout. Everybody stand up, put your hand up if you haven't got a handout. Okay. People with handouts, go and meet the people who do not have handouts. Okay? Go and meet them and share and answer those questions. If you've got a handout, go and help them so they can see it. Yeah? Can anybody not see a handout? Yeah? It's the page that says, this one here. Yeah? It's this one here. Have a look at this one. This one here. Think about those two questions as well. Yeah? Is it creative? Judge it, evaluate it, and would you use it with your students? Why not? Yeah, that's the key that comes up. Right. Has everyone had a chance to read it and look at it? Yeah. Can you put your hand up? Put your hand up if you think this is the most creative activity you have ever seen. Okay. Yeah, can you see it? And I think that's the important thing. Creativity, as we said before, is very subjective. There's a subjective component to it. This is why, if I tell you, this is creative, this is great, what's creative for me is not necessarily creative for you and your students. Okay, put your hand up if you think it's quite creative, it's quite interesting, it's quite creative. That's what we want, yeah? Put your hand up if you would change this a little bit to make it a little bit better for you. Make it a little bit different, make it fit, yeah? That's what you want. That's a creative activity because it allows you to be a little bit more flexible with it. And that's why it's good, okay? If you were going to go into a classroom tomorrow, would you use this activity? Put your hand up if you'd use it tomorrow. Okay, maybe the day after. Tomorrow's Saturday, isn't it? Nobody's going to use it tomorrow. Unless, of course, you're working in a desert to pay your rent. Yeah? But I think that's the point with these activities here. In the pack, I've put some more activities in there as well. And you might want to do the same. Have a look at them and ask yourself those questions. Yeah? But you've got to be thinking about what works for you and your personality and what works for your students. Because there's no perfect recipe. But we'll try something out and inshallah, we'll come up with something that's good. That's how it works. Yeah? Okay. Now, that's one of the things that works with this, is that I don't think it's possible for me to say, this is 100% creative. It's not. Different things will work for different people. Yeah? One of the things that I actually put in the handout is this little one here. Yeah? Now I guess, I know we haven't got enough copies, you might be able to see it. Yeah? But with this kind of poster, yeah, I think what they've done, they've said 29 ways to be creative. Now, all of them work for different people, yeah? But not all of them work for everyone. For example, with me, I love number 21. I'm a little bit naughty, yeah? And I think most good teachers are a little bit naughty too, yeah? Is that we break the rules if it means we can help our students more, yeah? And we keep it secret, we don't tell anybody, yeah? Now that works because when I break the rules, I'm being a little bit naughty, and so all those chemicals in my head get going. And I actually start to be a lot more creative. Because I have to think, how can I keep this secret? How can I stop people doing this, you know? And that works. For other people, yeah, you know, where is it? Number 8, for example. Number 8, drinking coffee, really works for a lot of people, yeah? I actually find the opposite. If I drink too much coffee, I'm not as creative. My brain gets dotted around, yeah? Now, you could probably do the same. If you looked at this list here, don't try and do everything. Choose the things that match up with you, yeah? Even better, though, the reason why I chose this picture was because Twitter! No. Yeah? Now, if we go on Twitter, because we can go on Twitter now, it's not blank anymore. If you go on Twitter and you actually do a quick search for infographic, you will now find millions and millions and millions of these types of posters on any subject that you want, literally, yeah? And that is the thing that starts the creativity going. You can find one for teaching grammar, for teaching vocabulary, for teaching any kind of subject, just by searching on Twitter. Yeah? You can find hundreds and hundreds of those. Just do a Google search for infographics, and you'll find millions of them as well. Will you like everyone? No. But you have such a big choice that you can choose the ones that meet your needs as well. Yeah? All right. Twitter! Sorry. I love judges! Yeah? All right, my Twitter account, which is now open again. Yes! Okay, my Twitter account. Yeah? What I did, if you have a look, if you go to my Twitter account and you look at those dates, the 17th of August and the 7th and the 8th of September, you will find around 200 articles, posts, infographics about creativity. Yeah? Now this was done last year, but what do you notice about those dates? August and September. I was on holiday. When I was on holiday, I was amazingly creative. Yeah? That was the same thing. But again, you don't have to go to my account. Again, if you go to Twitter, just have a look at creativity and create. You will find millions and millions and millions of things that you can choose. Yeah? All right. Let me show you another one. Is everyone familiar with this? Pinterest. But put your hand up if you have a Pinterest account. Yeah? Okay. Tell us what Pinterest is.
You can choose some ebook features that you are interested in, and you can select some boards and collect them.
You can collect ideas, yeah, from different places on the web. You can collect ideas from different people. Pinterest now has been rated the most creative social media tool for teachers, and it's also the fastest growing. It is growing faster than Twitter. Don't tell Kaya Bay. Cut it off, yeah? It's the same thing, yeah? But more and more teachers are using this to gather ideas. Okay, I've got an account, you can have a look at mine, but even better than mine is a woman called Erin Klein. Yeah? Erin, because she has lots and lots of friends. I don't have any friends, everybody hates me. Yeah? But Erin has lots of friends, and if you go, you can find lots of boards, lots of ideas, just from coming from her. And you'll see how many teachers are using it to collect ideas and share ideas at the same time. Really, really good tool. Yeah? Just don't post any pictures of Tayyip or he'll close it. Yeah. Another one is WikiHow. Now a lot of people think that Wiki is a bit old-fashioned. Yeah? It's not. Yeah? WikiHow is one of the fastest growing areas because they're like mini blogs now. And they've actually become quite professional, you know, because 4 or 5 different people prepare them together. They have an editor, yeah. If we go, yeah. There's one really, really good one that is there as well. You can actually type in, how do I be creative? And again, there's hundreds of them there. Lots of great links to look at, yeah. But the thing that's important is its choice. There will be lots of things for you to look at, and you choose what's best for you. Yeah? I like the way they organize this, because basically they say, look, if you want to be more creative, there's 3 things you've got to do. Yeah? That first one. You've got to start thinking differently. Yeah? You've got to do things differently, because it's the routine that stops the creativity. Yeah? You've got to do your own thing. Break the rules. Do something a little bit different, and you'll start to do more of it. Promise me. Yeah? And exercises. A lot of the time we think as teachers that we give exercises to our students. Yeah? We don't do enough exercises ourselves. Yeah? And again, on that site, there's really good examples of things that we can do as well. I'll send you this if you want with all the links. No worries. Yeah? But the dirty little secret of every teacher is deep inside, we're a little bit frightened. All teachers get nervous. All teachers get a little bit frightened. All of us, actually see, the best teachers have lots of self-doubt. We don't trust ourselves. We don't think we're good enough. We work amazingly hard, but we don't think we're good enough. And when we think about creativity, this is a question that lots of teachers ask all of the time. I ask myself this all the time. When I do a presentation, are my pictures creative enough? Oh, it's not creative, it's boring. You know, and I do it again and again. Yeah? But it is a real thing. But the good thing is, that doubt is good. That doubt is the thing that keeps us trying a little bit harder. And it's that doubt that makes us better teachers.
And also,
Because
you ask this question at the end of each semester to you.
absolutely.
I answer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same. I'm the same. And that's why I love that picture. Isn't that a creative picture? And it's the same. Lots of people say to me, Tony, you do lots of presentations. Do you get nervous? Hell yes. Every presentation I do, yeah. If you notice, before I started the presentation, where did I go? I ran to the bathroom. I was so nervous, I ran to the bathroom. As soon as I start, I'm great. But it's the same thing. It's good. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask you all now a very tough question, and I want you to be honest with me. I want you to stand up if you can answer yes to this question. Hello, Miss Children. I didn't give you a book before, did I? I'm going to give you a book now. All right, now, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. Only 2 of them stood up. How many people do we have in this room?
100.
About 100. Okay. Statistically, when we answer this question, give them a clap. Can you see? I'm magic. I do not know these people. All right. Statistically, though, that number holds true. But I don't think this is the most important question. The most important question is this one. Our kids, our students, are they creative geniuses? Stand up if you think your students are creative geniuses. You stood up because you wanted a book, didn't you? I haven't got enough.
I have a book here, okay? There are 2 students from me, so okay. There's a new evidence.
Yeah, do you want a book? Okay, now the reason why I did this though is there was a really interesting study that came from this. It was actually a longitudinal study where they followed 1,600 children from about the age of 3 or 4 to about the age of 15 or 16. They tracked them for 12 or 13 years and they gave them creativity tests when they were 3 years old, 8 years old, and so on. Yeah? Now, when they did this for very young children of the age of 3 to 5, 98% of them scored at the genius level for creativity. Amazing. Little baby human beings are more creative. Okay. They came back 4 or 5 years later and they tested the same children again. They came back 4 or 5 years later I'm going to show you a little test in a minute. I'll show you a little test. One of the tests that that they did. There were more activities where they asked the kids to be creative, but we'll do one in a second. When I look at those numbers, one word comes to my head. Yeah? What happened to those kids?
They go to school.
School happened to them. They learned to be afraid. School happened to them. Not school. We happened to them. We happened to them. Turn! Yeah. Now this man is the God. Ken Robinson again. I was going to say it's on YouTube. It's not on YouTube. It's okay. You can watch it. It's on TED. You can watch this video. Yeah. Okay. It's the most popular education video on the web. If you haven't seen this video, you should not graduate from teacher training school. You will see this video and you will memorize it before you get a job as a teacher. Promise me. Yes, Tony? Yes. We will memorize it before Tayyip closes it down. No. All right. His theory is basically this one. Yeah? Is that it's not growing into creativity. We actually we take the creativity from kids, from students. Yeah? You saw that difference from kindergarten to primary school? That's the biggest difference. Rather than educating people in creativity, yeah, we're beating the creativity out of them. Yeah? So, what I said, if this is true, all of you, apart from these two, yeah, these two are geniuses. I can guess. Yeah. All right. All of you need some creativity. Yes? You want some more creativity. So I said to myself, I bet you I can make you more creative right now, here, today. Wallahi billahi, I will make you more creative right now. Are you ready? Yes. Now some of you are probably thinking, okay, I'm going to bet you. This is a bet. This is a real